Mic test 1, 2. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. My name is Corrina Rachel. I'm going to start you guys out with a little live chat theme song. Yes, indeed. That's how you know it's a real show. It's time for live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. All right, so is it working now? All right, good. It's time for live chat. Ooh, the Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. I'll answer your questions about whatever you want to talk about on the Psychetruth. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Psychetruth, live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. It's time for live chat. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming to my weekly live chat. Many thanks to Lauren, who, without even the live chat having started, she has already left a tip. So, Lauren, this one is for you. Lauren Demarath. Pardon me if I'm not pronouncing your last name correctly, but Lauren, thank you so much for your tip. I do not see a question associated with your tip here, but if you have a question, Lauren, you are owed an answer here in exchange for your kindness and generosity. Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Corrina Rachel. I'm a certified holistic health coach because I wrote it right there. Well, no, because I got my health coaching certification. Anyhow, I've made hundreds of informational videos on this channel, Psychetruth, on the topics of weight loss, nutrition, stress, ASMR. Technically is on our other channel, but I have a lot of different videos basically just covering what I like to call the big, broad umbrella of wellness. And there's a lot of stuff that falls into that category. So this live chat is your opportunity to ask your health and wellness related questions. And really anything is fair game. A couple of little housekeeping type things. If you've been watching what's going on YouTube, you know that there is a crazy advertiser boycott going on. There's actually tons of YouTubers leaving YouTube. We are not doing that, but we are really, really grateful for your tips, and we will reward people who tip by answering those questions first. So YouTube actually will bump the comments with a tip associated with them up to the top, so they will be the next question answered at any time. We also are on Amazon, and guys, if you have Amazon Prime, you can go watch tons of videos for free, tons of stuff that's not on YouTube. Those videos are also on our new subscription service called Psychetruth Plus, and we are about to roll out a 50% off coupon for people who want to check out Psychetruth Plus. This is awesome because you can watch without ads, you get tons of videos that aren't on YouTube, and we have tons of really comprehensive series like 30-day abs and stuff like that to really help you meet your goals and not only reach them, but exceed them. Parth Mandalia, thank you so much for coming into the chat today. More Nike 41, Asilarka, Lou Stevens, I can't get this song out of my head. I love that. Okay, cool. So those of you in the chat here, you can leave your comments, or leave your questions in the comments. If you put some question marks at the beginning of your question, it'll make it easier for me to see in the big, long stream of comments that will come in here. I do my best to get to as many questions as possible. I'm even going to use my timer today. Let's get that timer opened and ready. Alrighty. So I saw a couple questions coming in while I was doing the theme song. Let's see. Doopy-doopy-doo. Parth Mendelia. And I again apologize, I'm probably not pronouncing your last name correctly. Please forgive me. I'm just a little Texas girl. I'm just a little old Texas girl. I don't know my right from my left. Anyways, all right. Parth says, should I choose my passion or become a doctor? When I first read that question, I thought your passion was to become a doctor. I would say follow your heart. Choose your passion. You know, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of times the things that we're most passionate about aren't necessarily the things that are going to make us the most amount of money. But, you know, I think that it's just, you know, one of these things you have to realize, you know, money is not everything, and money does not equal happiness. There's a lot of people out there that have chosen the path of making more income and making more money, and they're miserable. If you're doing a job that you're not really passionate about and you're miserable the whole time, is it worth it if you end up making a lot of money? My opinion is no. I would say follow your heart, do what you're passionate about, and, you know, just be smart about finding ways to either turn your passion into something that can help you make money, make an income, turn into a business, or, you know, always know that maybe you might be like working in addition on the side. But something like becoming a doctor or a lawyer, I mean, that is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put into something that you're not passionate about. So that is my gut feeling. Not exactly a nutrition question, but a very valid question nonetheless. Alrighty, okay, scrolling down, looking for question marks. Here we go. Okay, Sparkle Wink. Sparkle Wink, I love your screen name. That just makes me smile. Okay, Sparkle Wink says, what's a good protein source for people who are allergic to seafood and nuts? So this is a really good question, and protein is just, man, it's one of those topics that I think there's a lot of confusion about. So one of the biggest things is, you know, or one of the biggest misconceptions, and here I go, I'm gonna set my timer here, 4 minutes. Let's see how much information I can say in 4 minutes. You know, a lot of people associate animal meats with protein. And so a lot of vegans, there's even a really funny song on YouTube of vegans joking, you know, people being like, well, where do you get your protein? And they're like, plants. Anyways, it's really cute. Where do you get your protein from? Plants. So you have to understand that there's a tremendous amount of protein content in your vegetables, and especially those dark leafy greens. We could talk about spinach, kale, Swiss chard. I know a lot of those greens are kind of bitter, but whatever it takes for you to make those things palatable. So either maybe steam them and drizzle them with butter or olive oil. Or one of the things I like to do for salads is I'll actually kind of make a sweet dressing. So I'll use a little bit of honey in with my oil and vinegar. Most of my dressings I just make like in a little jar and mix them up. But doing something like adding honey in to your dressing to make it sweet can suddenly make a kale or spinach salad a lot more easy to eat, a lot more palatable. But anyways, those leafy greens, those dark leafy greens are full of protein. But really all of the different vegetables are gonna have a varied amount of protein content. And if you're eating the recommended 7 to 10 cups a day of vegetables, that's what they recommend for you to get just kind of the bare minimum that you need of nutrients, enzymes, antioxidants, all kinds of really good, what they would call micronutrients. So proteins are one of the macronutrients, carbs, fats, protein, macros. You also need all of the micronutrients, the vitamins, enzymes, lots of different things. I'm not going to sit here and list them all off. So vegetables are an excellent source of protein, and you need to be eating them anyway. So upping the content of vegetables in your diet is a really good thing to do. Broccoli is another great example of a high protein content vegetable. You said you're allergic to seafood and nuts. I would be curious if you're allergic to seeds. So things like hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, these are really great sources of healthy fats and protein. And depending on the seed, some are higher in fat and some are higher in protein. Hemp seeds are an excellent little way to boost your protein intake, and they're really easy to add to like whatever you're eating. So sprinkle them in a shake, sprinkle them on a salad, mix them in if you make your own like granola bars or something like that. Hemp seeds, such a wonderful thing to add, really nutritious thing to add. Of course, you do have your animal products like dairy and actual meats. Those can be good sources of protein, but they are far from the only source of protein out there. So getting lots of variety in your diet, lots and lots of vegetables, most people are really not in danger of a protein deficiency. It's actually much more common for people to be eating too much protein, more protein than they need, than for people to be protein deficient. Protein deficiency is just not something that you really ever hear about. I think the recommendation is that at each meal, you only need 3 to 6 ounces of protein. So get that a lot of us are used to maybe going to a steakhouse or a burger place, and maybe they give you like a 5 ounce or even 10 ounce. You know, if you're going to a steakhouse, maybe they give you a 10 ounce steak or something, or a 12 ounce ribeye or whatever. Get that is like 4 meals worth of protein. Anyway, so just remember that most people are getting more protein than they need. You don't have to eat animal products in order to get an ample amount of protein. If you search for a list of protein content, you can find just tons and tons of different places where people have actually listed out, here's the top protein content of vegetables, here's your top protein content of meats, etc. I believe that turkey is the highest protein content meat. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that I read that somewhere. Alrighty. More Nike 41. Now somebody asked to boost up the volume. I don't know if y'all really want me to boost the volume. I'm always nervous of overdriving because I hate how it sounds when something's really loud. I'm gonna try and just take it up a tiny bit. All right. If I'm too loud now, guys, let me know. Put it in the comments. I am trying to pay attention to the comments. Okay, so more Nike 41. Eating after a certain time or best to meet caloric goal. I'm a little bit confused by your question. In terms of times to eat, what is the, man, please leave your question again be a little bit more specific. I'm not sure if you're asking when is the best time to eat, or if we're supposed to not eat after a certain time, or when is the best, I don't know. Typically they recommend that you don't want to eat anything 3 hours before you go to sleep, or the last thing you eat should be 3 hours, or at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. So you wouldn't want to eat something and then go straight to bed. And if you do need really late night snacks, just choose things that are really easy to digest. So stay away from processed foods, stay away from processed sugar. You're looking for something that's going to be very easy for your body to break down, and that's not going to give you a lot of carbohydrates and stuff that are going to just immediately give you energy and keep you from falling asleep. But again, I'm not sure if that was your question. Vegan Truth Seeker, how did you get your health certification? I did a program through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and it's really neat. It was all online. So I listened to, I don't know, I think probably over 100 different lectures, and then you take all of your tests online. It's a very, very awesome program. I learned so much. IIN, or Institute of Integrative Nutrition is what it's called. Although I know there's a lot of other programs now offered to get a health coaching certification. And then there's actually a lot of different kind of specific things that you can get certified in. So I would encourage you to just look around and see, which program, seems most in line with what you're specifically wanting to do. So here we go. Play that Jimi Hendrix chord. We have another tip. This one comes from Alicia Johnson. Alicia, thank you so, so much. Wow, wow, wow. Alrighty. So she says, hi, and thanks for last time. Yes, I recognize your screen name, so happy to see you back. She says, I already started the apple cider vinegar. Why is it not talked about? And why do people say it's not a good idea for acid reflux? All right, I'm going to give you a 5-minute timer here since this came with a tip. So this is a really good question. Now, acid reflux, I feel like this is something I've addressed in a lot of the live chats because this is a really common problem. So I'm going to try to go through it quickly because I think this is super duper important. And then I will get to the question about why it's not talked about. So it's a little counterintuitive. You know, the main reason that you probably don't hear people recommending apple cider vinegar, most people don't know about it, is that it's counterintuitive, right? Your problem is that you're feeling acid coming up through your esophagus, and it's painful, right? And your intuition tells you, man, I'm too acidic. So what do? We reach for antacids. And most of those either over-the-counter or prescription-based acid reflux medications are just that. They are actually either reducing your stomach acid, right? In the case of something like Tums. And how many people do you know who just pop Tums like they're candies? I see so many people with that big giant thing of Tums. So it's a little counterintuitive, right? That you would actually take something acidic to help this acid problem. So let's talk about why. The problem that causes acid reflux is not that your stomach acid is too acidic. It's that it's not acidic enough. And there's a little valve or a little sphincter, all right, that is paying attention to the acidity of the stomach. And if it's not acidic enough, that valve won't close. Basically, the body is thinking the stomach is not in any shape to digest food right now. It's not an acidic enough environment. So that little valve stays open. And then your stomach acid can actually go back up. And there you have your acid reflux. But what you need in order to close that valve and kind of seal off your stomach is for the stomach to be very, very acidic. So when we take antacids, when we take things that seek to reduce the acidity of our stomach, we're actually preventing that little valve from closing, and we're also preventing the body from being able to digest our food effectively. So just something to notice for those of you out there who take antacids. Do you suffer from bloating? Do you suffer from a lot of belly fat? Do you suffer from indigestion or just feeling like your food can't get digested? IBS, constipation. There's lots of kind of indicators that your digestion is not working the way that it should. And my hypothesis is that people who are taking antacids are probably going to notice that their digestion is not working the way it should. So apple cider vinegar is excellent because it's going to increase the acidity of your stomach. It's going to make it more acidic. So what this does is actually closes that little valve or sphincter or whatever it's called, actually closes that valve, and now your body is really able to fully digest your food. So, got about a minute and a half left. I want to say this. I think one of the big reasons that apple cider vinegar is not talked about, number one, is that you can't patent something that is a naturally occurring substance. You can't patent something that's made from apples because you can't patent apples. So from the pharmaceutical drug perspective, they can't make money off of selling apple cider vinegar. You can't prescribe apple cider vinegar. You can't patent it. What you can patent is antacid drugs and Prilosec and whatever. And just to throw in my little, for what it's worth, I think it's worth noting that when somebody sells you an antacid, when somebody sells you something that they know might temporarily help seem to reduce your symptoms, because a lot of those antacids, they offer you some immediate relief, right? And people wouldn't take them if they didn't offer them relief. But what you get in exchange for that, kind of immediate relief, is that it's actually preventing your body from working, and it's kind of perpetuating the underlying problem. So when you sell people with acid reflux an antacid, what are you doing? You're creating a return customer. And call me a conspiracy nut or whatever, but I don't think it's any accident that the most common drugs out there are actually things that are going to perpetuate the problem and ensure that people are going to keep coming back and have to get another prescription for Prilosec or keep buying those Tums or whatever it is, because it's not actually addressing the problem. So in the world of functional medicine, it's all about identifying the problem and resolving it, not just using something to fix the symptoms. So a doctor of functional medicine is the type of person who would recommend apple cider vinegar. Somebody who actually wants to look at what is the problem, what's going on. Your stomach is not acidic enough. Fix that problem, and then guess what? You're not going to have to keep going back to that doctor over and over, because the whole objective is to resolve your problem once and for all. Alicia, thank you so much for that question. Scrolling. Here we go. Alrighty. Okay, Doreen Ahmed. I want to know how to detox and lose weight. Detox and weight loss, such a good question. Going back down to the 4 minutes, let's see how much I can do. All right, so the first thing to understand about detoxification is that this is something your body does all the time. From the moment, probably before you're born, probably even while you are in utero, while you are still a fetus, your body is already detoxifying. Basically, this is just the process of removing toxicity from the foods that you ingest. Just understand we're constantly exposed to toxins, especially if you live in a big city. You could think about the pollution in the air. You can think about the fact that just the paint on the walls actually outgasses chemicals. And the thing about toxicity, and the reason why detoxification has become such a big topic, is that the more we live in a fast-paced world with tons of technology, tons of processed foods, tons of paints and sprays and fragrances and stuff getting put in the air, the toxicity level of the average person is increasing. And when you look at a person 100 or 500 years ago, their bodies were far less toxic than a person living in the modern world. And it's just one of those things that kind of comes with living with all of these modern perks and appliances and different stuff. So we have increased toxicity. Also, we have reduced movement, reduced consumption of vegetables and healthy foods. We're eating more processed junk, we're eating more sugar, and we're more sedentary. So those toxins that are normally getting cycled by your liver, your kidneys, all right, we've got these organs whose entire job is detoxification. Well, as we become more and more toxic, and as we assault those organs with sodas and alcohol and sugar and all of these things that we're consuming, suddenly our liver and kidneys become fatigued, and they're no longer able to handle all of that detox on their own. And it's a simple mathematical equation. If you have more toxins than you have strength to detoxify, what ends up happening? Suddenly it starts to build up. So as toxins build up, as our liver becomes sluggish, so just like an air filter that starts getting all filled up with dirt, it's kind of the same thing that happens to your liver. It just becomes sluggish. Things don't move through as quickly. So when we talk about bloating and we talk about belly fat, a big part of why we experience bloating and belly fat is that congested liver, or your liver is clogged up, just like an air filter that hasn't been changed in too long. So when we want to detox, there's a couple simple things that we can do. Move your body more. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to get an exercise bike. You just have to move. Something as simple as taking a long walk outside is fantastic because you're getting that movement, you're getting that little bit of exercise, but you're also exposing yourself to fresh air, which again, depending on where you live, could be fresh or could be really polluted, but it's still less polluted than the air inside of wherever you're at. So taking a long walk, doing some yoga, doing some stretching, whatever it takes to get you more active, you're going to help improve your lymphatic circulation. Your lymphatic system is a big part of detoxification. Basically, this is a layer of liquid underneath your skin, but above your vascular system. And that lymphatic fluid is very, very important for carrying good things in and bad things out. So increasing your movement is going to help improve that. Also, when we consider improving your exercise, your cardiovascular health, now you're improving your vascular circulation too, or your blood circulation. And again, your blood is just another, avenue, so to speak, for detoxification. The blood comes into the heart, gets cleaned up, and comes back out. Or not into the heart, into the kidneys. But anyways, so you've got a lot of functions going on in your body. You just need to help assist them. So move more, drink more water, eat less processed foods. Recognize that when you have something with sugar and caffeine and alcohol and a lot of processed ingredients, high fructose corn syrup, maltodextrin, etc., those things are all toxins. So you want to try and reduce processed foods, increase your intake of vegetables. Cilantro is just one example of a vegetable that is literally known to help improve detoxification. Cilantro and parsley. So incorporating those into your diet, or if you're into drinking those green juices, which I freaking am a total green juice addict, having an occasional bit of cilantro and parsley in your green juice is also going to be a great way to help you detox. Last thing I want to say is that I really would encourage you to be gentle with your body. Think of a giant, bag of waste. All right, imagine all the garbage in whatever city you live in is getting not dumped into a landfill, but dumped into a big bag. Well, if you detox too quickly, it's almost like you took a big knife and just cut a hole in the bottom of that bag, and what happens? All the garbage just dumps out. Too fast, too much. All right, so if you detox too quickly, you can end up with things like headaches, you can break out, it can make you very emotionally edgy. Okay, so you want to be gentle. So if you had a big bag of garbage and maybe you just took a pin and poked a hole in it, well, now the garbage would still leak out, but a lot more slowly. So be gentle when you detox. There are a lot of detox teas, detox programs, etc. that are out there, but I just encourage you to be gentle with yourself. Because if you detox too quickly, you're going to have a bad experience with detox, and then you're not going to want to do it again. And then 20 or 30 years later, you're going to be so toxic that it's unpleasant. Ideal scene is that if you just live healthy, eat healthy, your body will be able to handle detox on its own. And you don't need to do special cleanses and diets and different stuff like that. So really cool question, Doreen. Thank you so much. I could talk for a long time about detoxing. I have a lot of videos on that subject. So if you put in detox in the search bar of Psychetruth, not only do I have a lot of videos on like information about detoxing, we also have a lot of yoga videos that are specifically for improving detox and digestion. So that's another really good idea for you too. Sparkle Wink, what exercises do you personally find fun? I just want to get to know you. So thank you so much. I really like playing tennis. Probably my favorite physical activity is just hiking with my dog. I love being in nature. I love looking at things that are green, It's just green and beautiful and tons of trees and flowers. That is like my zen, so to speak. So I love hiking, love playing tennis, although I'm not very good at it. I just play for fun. I don't actually keep score or anything like that. And swimming. I live in Texas, so yeah, I love to swim. It's really hot here. I love doing yoga. Maybe it sounds really dorky, but I love doing the yoga videos on Psychetruth. And because I'm the one behind the camera filming all of those videos, I'm actually like kind of critiquing my videography while I do the yoga. So anyways, that's fun. Alrighty guys, so we have another tip here. Oh yeah, it's for Dana Stickler. Dana Stickler, Dana Stickler, Dana Stickler, thank you. That's what happens when somebody leaves a tip. All right, so Dana, thank you so much. You are so sweet. I really appreciate your tip and your question. She says, after years of antacids, I have polyps. How do I make those go away? So I feel really, really bad because this is not something that I can really address. I can talk about why antacids are bad, but I do not exactly know, remedies for polyps. I will say this, for people who have taken antacids before, or you're taking them now, maybe you're one of those people sitting there with a giant thing of Tums sitting right next to your computer and you're like, totally fine. You wouldn't be alone if that is you, okay? This is something that lots and lots of people are doing. First thing I would say is to start easing yourself off of the antacids. Depending on how long you've taken them, it may not be a good idea to just quit them cold turkey. But then at the same time, I actually think that, antacids are something that are less likely to have some kind of withdrawal effect or negative effect like that. But pay attention to your body. We are creatures of habit. So if you've had a habit of taking antacids for years, then suddenly stopping taking them could just kind of, throw your body out a little bit. Suddenly your body's not as expected. But anyways, start working your way off of them and look into taking probiotics. Probiotics. So basically this is, I guess it's a supplement, so to speak. But inside of our gut, and really all over, all throughout our body and even on our skin, we have lots of beneficial bacteria, beneficial microbes, and they all perform different functions. So talking about on our skin, we have microbes there that are a very integral part of our immune system. So the things that we touch, the things that we come into contact with, there's an immediate line of defense on our skin. So same kind of situation going on in the gut. There's a lot of bacteria in the digestive tract that perform very important functions, and probiotics simply feed those good bacteria. So the one that I take is called Multidophilus. It's a multiple strain probiotic, which is what you want to look for. And then they come in various amounts. So there's like 5 billion, 15 billion. I think the one that I take is 15 billion. I think it's CU is the unit that they use. But anyways, looking for something like that. If you want more info on probiotics, I have a whole video on that topic if you search for it. But as you start to improve the health of your digestive tract, you should find that things like polyps, indigestion, acid reflux, all of those things should start to improve because those microbes perform such an important function. Also worth noting that the digestive tract is also where about 80% of our hormones are made. So when we talk about the benefits associated with improving your digestive tract health, they're not just digestion. So just to list off a couple, benefits of probiotics: improved digestion, improved weight loss, because your body can actually digest food and get rid of the stuff it doesn't need. Also improved mood, improved emotional and hormonal balance, improved immune system, because we also have a lot of our immune system function going on in the gut. So probiotics are one of the only supplements that I would pretty much literally recommend to every single person on the planet. I think every single person on the planet would benefit from taking probiotics because the sugars that we consume, the caffeine, the alcohol, the processed food, and also anytime we take antibiotics for something, we're killing off that good flora in the gut. And flora is just the name of the like bacterial community, I guess. It's known as the flora in your gut. So as far as other recommendations for polyps, Dana, I apologize that I don't have a lot of other ideas, but a good, just at least first thing to try would be taking probiotics. And then I encourage you to seek out a doctor of functional medicine. And you can either put in doctor of functional medicine in your town and your zip code and see if there's one where you live. But also the cool thing about functional medicine is that you can have a doctor who maybe doesn't even live where you live. And you would go and get your blood work done, send those results over to the doctor, and you could do all of your working with that doctor just either on the phone or on Skype or something like that. Doctor of functional medicine, that is your go-to for actually resolving a problem, not just mediating the symptoms. Alrighty, I am going to pause for the cause of hydration, and you should too. This is actually regular water in a Topo Chico bottle, but I do love Topo Chico. It is really good. So Lou Stevens, what over-the-counter herbal supplements do you recommend? I take magnesium, garlic pills, fish oil, turmeric pills. So those are not necessarily herbal supplements, but those are good vitamins. So magnesium, turmeric, I guess turmeric is an herb, right? So, you know, it's really hard to, recommend something across the board. Every single person is different. We have different diets, different lifestyles. Some people, maybe their biggest problem in their lives is stress. And that's totally a thing. So for somebody who experiences a lot of stress, experiences a lot of just mental, emotional stress, right? The recommendations for them might be different from somebody who works out all the time and is really active and doesn't really have stress levels, but they're trying to build a lot of muscle. So having an across-the-board recommendation is very difficult. And that's why I do my health coaching, so that I can kind of, recommend a unique diet or supplement regimen based on the person and what they're actually looking to do. But as a general rule of thumb, I just mentioned probiotics. Probiotics are something that I would pretty much recommend for everyone. I think any person on the planet would benefit from taking probiotic supplements. Magnesium is fantastic. Most people are deficient in magnesium, and magnesium is essential for handling stress, helping the body relax, helping muscles relax. So if you experience a lot of muscle cramps or Charlie horses, as they say, magnesium would be a great recommendation. Things like garlic pills, fish oil, turmeric pills, I would also say those are all probably excellent for virtually anyone. Fish oil is great as an omega-3 source, but there are, vegan, non-animal sourced, things that you can take to get omega-3s. Things like flaxseed oil, or actually just eating more flax seeds in the context of your meals. Turmeric is fantastic. It's a fantastic source of antioxidants. So when you think antioxidant, think anti-aging. There's a really loud motorcycle that just went by. Antioxidants, anti-aging. So, something like turmeric is fantastic because it gives you a huge, what they call ORAC value of antioxidants. So those are all fantastic. I think a good multivitamin is probably a good thing for any person to add, especially if you're not hitting that recommendation of, 7 cups of vegetables a day. But get that if you had a cup of vegetables at breakfast and then 3 cups at lunch, maybe you have a salad and some steamed green beans or something like that, and then 3 or 4 servings at dinner, it is reasonable to eat that many vegetables. But anyways, so 7 to 10 is kind of what they say is a minimum. Most people are probably not even eating 3 cups of vegetables a day. So if you're not eating very many vegetables every day, taking a just general multivitamin is probably good. The brand I am taking right now is called Earth's Blend. I get it from iherb.com. And I love it. The thing you need to look for on vitamins is that somewhere on the label, there's a big list of foods. And what that tells you is that the vitamins were taken from a natural source. They were taken from a food rather than synthetically made in a lab. Because a lot of the vitamins you buy, especially things that are cheaper, the cheaper or store brand vitamins, a lot of times those are synthetic. And what I mean is some scientist in a lab actually just creates the vitamin C or ascorbic acid. Or they just, you know what I mean? So it's different than when you take the vitamin C from oranges or take the antioxidants from an acai berry or whatever. So something that is food-based is very, 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 very critical when you're looking for a multivitamin. Really good question. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving on here because I do want to try to get to as many questions as possible. Corey Ross. I hear that eating tofu is not good for us due to creating estrogen. Soy. So the reason that we hear that that kind of statement made is that soy is considered to be an endocrine disruptor. And what that means is it disrupts our hormone balance. I believe that it's also what they call like estrogen or estrogenic, an estrogen mimic. So the problem is that it will go into your body and your body kind of mistakes it for estrogen. But then when it actually binds onto your cell or whatever, it's not estrogen, it's soy. And so it doesn't perform the function that it is supposed to. Now, as far as an overall blanket statement about soy and about tofu, it's worth noting that a little bit is probably not going to hurt you. And if you have a strong endocrine system or hormone system, and for the most part you eat healthy, you exercise, you get a variety of foods, then having some tofu from time to time or some soy milk from time to time is not going to destroy your health. It's not going to be the thing that takes your really good healthy lifestyle and then ruins it. But if you're someone who maybe you're exposed to a lot of these different endocrine disruptors, things like plastics are considered to be an endocrine disruptor. Anytime you're eating, conventionally raised dairy products or animal products, those animals are given hormones. They give hormones to the cows to make them produce milk all year round. They give hormones to the cows and the pigs to make them produce more meat. And then when we eat those conventional meats and dairy, we take those hormones in too. And they do have an effect on our bodies and kind of imbalancing our hormones. So if you're eating a lot of those things, exposed to a lot of plastics, if you drink out of plastics all the time, or those little Ziploc containers, the little, whatever you call them, if you're microwaving your food in Ziploc containers, stop. Because that's a good way to make those bisphenol A elements or plastic chemicals leach into your food, and you want to avoid that. So consider that, ultimately it's an overall picture of your lifestyle and diet. It's not going to just be one thing. But for people out there who have problems with their hormones, or in the case of too much estrogen, too much testosterone, something you might want to consider is reducing those endocrine disruptors that you're taking in. So things like tofu, soy, etc. Ultimately, one of the biggest problems with soy is not the actual tofu itself. It's all of the hidden soy that people are ingesting without even realizing it. So even for people who don't drink soy milk and don't eat tofu, they would probably be amazed at how much soy they are taking in on a daily basis. Because when you look at things like soy lecithin, soy protein isolate, there's just dozens and dozens of different chemicals that they make from soy and then put them into all the processed foods. So a lot of people are actually exposing themselves to far more soy than they're realizing. Corn is another example. Corn isn't necessarily an endocrine disruptor, but it's one of these things that's used in so many foods and so many ingredients that people are ingesting far more corn than they even realize. There's actually that documentary King Corn, where I think they look at the guy's hair or something, and I can't remember the percentage, but he ends up finding out that he's basically made of corn. And he's like, I don't eat that much corn. So again, it comes back to the hidden source. And again, soy is a great example. So anyways, tofu, do it in reason. It's also worth noting that actually tempeh is much healthier for you. That is a fermented form of tofu. Tempeh, tempeh. I also think it tastes way better than tofu. So try replacing your tofu with tempeh. And yeah, just pay attention to your body and pay attention to your hormones. And if you're seeing a doctor and they can even test your hormones, that would be a good way to determine, is this something I need to worry about? Am I in danger of potentially throwing off my hormones, etc.? Alrighty, it just bumped me down a huge amount of comments. Let's see, where are we at here? Grim Ace, I see your question there about feeding your cats vegetarian food like you eat. I do not know anything about nutritional requirements for cats and dogs. Would definitely kind of feel like a cat or a dog's body is probably pretty used to having meat. There probably are things that they need in meat or animal products or milk or something like that, but I do not know for a fact. So I would encourage you to address that question to an actual veterinarian, because I don't know about the dietary needs of cats. Devin McCrae, is a healthy diet alone enough to get a six-pack? I don't think so. I mean, certainly diet alone is enough to reduce your body fat enough that your abdominal muscles become exposed or visible. But in terms of actually getting that kind of carved out six-pack, which most people are kind of going after when they talk about a six-pack, the movements that actually kind of push your abdominal muscles out so that you can actually see the six-pack or whatever, actually see the lines, that comes from strengthening those muscles, toning and working those muscles. So, I would be interested, I would actually be interested to know, how close can you get to a six-pack without working out. But my gut feeling is that, you're never going to have the look of like the 6-pack shortcuts guy just from diet alone. You can get really trim, you can get really low body fat, but actually, making those muscles really defined and kind of pop out almost, you really need to actually work those muscles in order to do that. Tyrone's Provost, how do you feel about superfood powder smoothies? I really can't say just a general across the board thing on that because every single product is different. There are definitely some superfood powder type things out there that I think are phenomenal products. Very nutritionally dense, very nutritionally balanced and well-rounded, but that doesn't mean that all of them are. There's a green powder called Green Vibrance. I love everything about that stuff except it is pretty pungent tasting. I've had some success with like using that powder and instead of mixing it with water, mix it with something like pineapple juice or like a little bit of pineapple juice and water. But largely, when you have a superfood powder that you add water or add whatever, it's going to be pretty strong in flavor. Ultimately, the healthiest option is to get your food in food form, not powder form. Once you powder something, you've dehydrated it and it's processed. So just the difference between something being a food in its natural state versus a food in a powder form, there's some level of processing that's done to it. It's not in its most bioavailable state. Bioavailable just means how easy is the food to break down and absorb the nutrients. So the best thing is to actually have those foods in their natural state, unprocessed. Putting them into smoothies is fantastic. Adding superfood powder to your smoothie, which I think maybe is what you meant, is also great. So maybe you're making your smoothie and then you add some spirulina or some superfood green powder or whatever. I think that's fantastic. Again, I would still recommend, having the actual foods themselves is always better. But in the world of superfoods like acai berries and goji berries and all those things, I understand they can get really expensive to actually buy those foods themselves. So having a superfood powder that you add to your smoothies is probably a good move. But I still think that I might actually recommend that you save your money on the superfood powder and actually just buy more vegetables and eat more vegetables. You just have to be honest with yourself, because if it's easier for you to just add a scoop of the green powder to your smoothie, and you're more likely to do that than to eat a salad and eat carrots and all those other things, ultimately you have to choose what's going to be easiest for you to do. What are you the most likely to actually do? Because there's no health benefit to kale that you never eat. Mo Infinite, what form should we take the probiotics? I typically purchase my probiotics in the kind of refrigerated section. I primarily shop at Sprouts. It's a little natural grocery store we have here. And there inside of the supplements section is a little refrigerated part. They have one at Whole Foods too. If you're in the supplements area, there's a little refrigerated section. That's where you're going to find the highest quality probiotics. They actually will need to be refrigerated. And for the most part, they're just in little pill form. So I don't know if that answers your question. There certainly are lots of probiotics out there that don't require refrigeration. Refrigerated ones are a good way to just kind of know that you've got a good quality, probiotic. I think that, if you're really, really curious, check out the video that I did on probiotics. I'm also kind of working on another video right now that's going to touch on antibiotics, probiotics, and things like that. So you can keep an eye peeled for that as well. Dana Stickler. I didn't realize that it limits you to 50 characters. That is really strange. It seems like if you're going to leave a tip, you should have like unlimited characters you can use for your thing. But again, YouTube is, I don't know. YouTube is what it is. So anyways, this is kind of a follow-up. She was asking the question about, I'm off antacids, but I'm experiencing polyps. What can I do? She says she's already taking probiotics and she's gluten-free. So again, Dana, unfortunately, I am not an expert in the area of reversing polyps. Really good at helping people hopefully prevent polyps in the first place. But once you have them, now you're kind of in a more delicate situation. So my best recommendation is, finding a doctor of functional medicine and working with them directly. Because then he's going to be able to look at your blood work, look at your body, and then develop a specific regimen that's targeted for you and creating a diet plan that's going to actually work for you, or whatever that takes. I would also mention, just searching some more on the internet, natural ways to reverse polyps. I have a suspicion that if you were to search that, there's probably a lot of people out there who have at least thrown out some really good ideas for reversing polyps, or at least preventing any future polyps to form. I'll study more about polyps though, because that is a really interesting question. I wish that I had a better answer for you. Being gluten-free is probably a really good idea, simply because you're taking out one of those potential factors that's going to deter or impose on your digestion even more. All right, guys, so as I scroll here looking for question marks, I just want to remind you that we are in Super Chat, which means you can leave a tip. And when you leave a tip, YouTube will bump your question up to the top. So you will actually be the next question answered once you leave a tip. Things are getting cray-cray on YouTube. If you are watching a lot of your creators, I'm sure we are not the only ones to kind of be... to be getting hit by this advertiser boycott thing. It is literally taking what has been our business model for 10 years, running this channel, and turning it upside down on its ass. So we really, really appreciate your tips. I cannot tell you enough. We also have lots of new videos that are not on YouTube. Okay, but they are available on Amazon. They're free if you have Prime. And then we also have our new subscription service. We wanted a way to, get people access to our videos faster than we can post them on YouTube, and in an environment where they're easier to navigate. It's easier to find all the parts of the different series. And we're actually creating really nice comprehensive programs to help you reach and overcome your fitness goals. So all of that is on Psychetruth Plus, and we are offering a 50% off coupon right now for people who want to sign up, as we've just launched it probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We also have a Patreon, you guys. So we post tons of exclusive videos on Patreon that we do not post anywhere else. So people who are patrons get content that is not on Amazon or Psychetruth Plus. Lots of behind the scenes, exclusive things, all kinds of fun stuff, people being goofy and bloopers, and anyway. So consider becoming a patron, consider helping us out. We really, really appreciate it. We're just in a situation where we love making videos that we feel help people. That's all we want to do. And for like 10 years, we've been able to do that and survive as a business. And now YouTube is like giving all of its creators the finger, and it sucks. So we don't want to have to produce less videos. We don't want to have to fire our staff. So we really do appreciate you guys signing up for Psychetruth Plus or becoming a Patreon supporter. It means more to us than I can even convey. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. That's just fun to say. Anyways, Hippopotamus says, discuss the diet heart myth, please. Can you elucidate on that? I'm actually not familiar with the diet/heart myth. There's a lot of myths related to diet and related to heart disease. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but if you can leave a little bit more specific thing of which myth you're addressing, that would be really helpful. Haley Bled, I have oral allergy syndrome and allergic to nuts, so I pretty much can't eat healthy food. So is nuts the only food you can't eat? Because nuts are not the only healthy food out there. Vegetables, seeds. You know, a lot of people who are allergic to nuts actually aren't allergic to seeds. So we talk about hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, fantastic little nutrient bursts to kind of add into your body. Oh, I see. She says, I can't eat fish, fruit, or fresh veggies. I'm allergic to them. Can you eat cooked veggies? Oh, can't eat fresh fruit or fresh veggies. That is... anyways, okay, I'm stumped on that one. Cooked veggies, cooked fruits. I don't know about cooking fruits, but... Scrolling. I'm frozen here. Always gotta appreciate YouTube for freezing me in like the least attractive pose ever. Oh, Christo Ava. I'm not sure if this is the same question that I saw earlier, but I did see somebody that left a question about, not being able to fall asleep early. I spend all day in front of a computer. Why can't I fall asleep at night? OMG, I think that all of us are in this situation right now. I know very few people who don't spend all day in front of a computer. A couple things you need to know. Melatonin, which is essential for us falling asleep. We don't produce melatonin when we are in front of a screen. We don't produce melatonin when we're looking at our cell phone. We really only produce melatonin when it's dark. And a lot of us don't spend very much time in the dark anymore. We have lights on all the time. Even at night, all the lights are on. We're in front of screens all day. We come home, we watch TV. And we're in front of another screen. And any time that you spend in front of a screen, let's call it screen time, for lack of a better term, your body's not producing melatonin. It's literally preventing your body's sleep cycle from being the way that it's supposed to be. Having all the things that you're supposed to have. So what can you do? Reduce your time in front of a screen. Just gonna block my screen here. Reduce your time in front of a screen. There's also a lot of these like shield things now that they sell. I'm actually looking for one right now. Because I know that I need to get one. I need to get one for my phone too. But anyways, they have little like screens you can put over the computer, over your phone, that actually absorb some of the electromagnetic radiation. That's not completely resolving the problem, but it's at least gonna help. It at least can't hurt. Using a lower brightness, and especially at night, reducing the brightness is a really good idea. One of the most important things for me to have a normal sleep schedule is getting exercise. Fatiguing the body, fatiguing the muscles. If you're having trouble sleeping, one of the best recommendations I can make is to start exercising on a regular basis. Even if it's just doing 20 minutes of yoga or something like that before you go to bed. We actually have a lot of videos on our channel that are like yoga for sleep, yoga for deep relaxation. You can try those out and see if they help. But if you do like a yoga for weight loss, kind of intense workout, or if you don't want to do yoga, do a regular workout video, or heck, just run in place or do, jump rope or something. But work your body out, fatigue your muscles, work your heart. This is one of the best ways for me to ensure that I can, get an early night's sleep. Is just, kicking my butt at the gym or whatever. Really exhausting and fatiguing myself. Also, that physical exercise is really, really good for you. So improving your sleep is just kind of an added benefit to increasing your amount of physical activity. Orthorexia nervosa, all of those so-called mental illnesses in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Illness, they're not all ridiculous, but a lot of them are pretty ridiculous, and I pretty much feel that orthorexia nervosa is pretty ridiculous. I do think it's worth noting that for anything in life that anyone does, there are some people out there who, get really into it. And maybe get so into it that it becomes more stressful on their lives, or it actually, causes them greater anxiety. I don't know a whole lot about orthorexia nervosa. I didn't really read the entry on it or anything. My gut feeling is if someone is using an obsession with health to try and cope with some other issue they're having, the problem is not the obsession with health. The problem is actually addressing whatever is going on in that person's life that's making them reach out and become really obsessed with something. Some people become really obsessed with working out, and they maybe do it too much. And it's not the problem, and the problem isn't working out. The problem is that there's something going on in that person's life, in that person's psyche, that they are reaching out, trying to find coping mechanisms. So their coping mechanism is working out, and they end up doing it too much. Or their coping mechanism is trying to eat healthy, and then they become obsessed over it. Not an actual medical disease, though. There's no way to biologically test somebody's blood and determine that they have orthorexia nervosa. Again, this is something that I've just heard a little bit about. I could certainly be wrong, but that's my gut feeling there. Oh yeah, Corey Ross throws in too much light in your eyes prevents you from getting melatonin. So if you use a blue screen, so there's little blue screen things you can use. You can also, again, decreasing your brightness. My phone even does this thing, after a certain time at night, everything kind of turns yellowish, looking, and that's supposed to, help your body sleep better or something. Where does it say that? Anyways, I don't know. So Corey Ross, I heard a lot of people and professionals talking about taking good fats to help you lose fat, boost brain power, and get energized. And then Thoko, pardon me if I'm not saying that correctly, Thoko chimes in, your brain needs fats to survive and function. Your brain is mostly made of fats. And it's true. So yeah, the good fats. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocados, nuts. If you eat dairy, even the fat in dairy products is good for you. And so you should have the full fat milk. You should have the full fat yogurt. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to go into it. But the idea that all fats are bad or that we should eat a non-fat or low-fat diet is like complete hogwash. We actually need those healthy fats in order to function. And because our brain is made of fats, all right, we could talk about improved brain function, improved energy, improved mood, all just from integrating more healthy fats into our diet. Moises de Santiago, so if I need to stay awake, I should look at a light. Yeah, I mean, in theory, yes. Although I don't know how much you have necessarily like an instant reaction. Like you could be really sleepy and look at a screen and then it would wake you up. Although I will say that sometimes like I could feel really, really tired and then I'll turn on the TV and suddenly I'm awake for like 4 hours watching the TV and I'm like, what's going on? I was really tired like 4 hours ago. So I definitely feel like I have almost an immediate like being, awoken when I'm in front of a screen. Not necessarily sure if it's that simple, like, hey, if you're tired, look at a computer screen, look at a TV. But you could certainly try it, and certainly prolonged exposure, not exposed exposure, prolonged exposure to screens throughout the day would theoretically keep you up and help you stay up later. Terabi Chan, I apologize again if I'm not saying that right. Corrina, could you please talk about frozen vegetables and their nutritional value? Is it diminished or dies, or is it the same like in fresh veggies? Ideal scene is definitely to consume fresh vegetables. The closer to the time that they were picked, the more nutritional value they will contain. The longer the duration of time from when that plant is picked to when that plant is ingested, the nutritional content diminishes. So the healthiest, most nutrient-dense thing you can eat would be something that you literally just pulled out of your garden. Or you went to the farmer's market and they're selling vegetables that they picked that morning. A lot of times people at the farmer's market, they'll get up at like 5 a.m. and go pick all of their foods and stuff that they sell later that day in the market. So fresher food's definitely healthier, but understandably, frozen vegetables are much easier and typically more affordable too, especially if you're shopping somewhere like Costco or something like that. You can get a big old bag of frozen fruit or frozen vegetables for a pretty reasonable price. So you certainly are exchanging some of the nutritional content when you eat those frozen foods, but I would definitely say that it's better than not eating those foods at all. So even if you're having frozen broccolis and frozen whatever, just understand that yes, you are not getting quite the same nutritional value that you would if those things were fresh, but you're still getting a great amount of value. I also think that a lot of the companies now that are selling those types of frozen foods, they're getting better at knowing how to package them, when to freeze them, all those things in order to preserve as much nutrition as possible. So fresh is always better, but certainly frozen is... Hippopotamus says, wrong, frozen broccoli is worthless except for the fiber content. I don't know if that's completely true, but I also don't know that for a fact. I would assume you retain some of the nutrients when you freeze something. But again, it's not going to be nearly as nutrient dense as just eating that vegetable as close to its freshest stage as possible. What to put in a shake so it will be a replacement for salad? Drawer 114. Salad. So adding spinach. Or, you could add lettuce or something like that. But for me, I just always am buying kale and spinach. I'm like, I want the most nutrient dense thing. So add something green to your smoothie. Beets in a smoothie can be really good. You can even do like beets and carrots and celery and cucumber. Put it all in a smoothie and yeah, it's basically like you just ate a salad. Thoughts on water quality. I don't typically buy bottled water unless I'm like out on the road or something like that. I need to buy a bottle of water, but I do have a water filter at home. I think that's very, very, very important. I'm actually in the process right now of kind of looking into getting a new water filter. Because yeah, having, good filtered water is very, very, very important. Definitely. Jane's a neutron. It really depends on how you cook it. If you cook frozen broccoli to disgusting levels, then yes, it won't be as nutritious. And I mean, that could be said the same way as, for fresh foods. Understand that cooking also denatures your nutrients. So if you take a food and then you cook it to the point that it's just like super soggy and loses its color and its flavor, and it's pretty much lost most of its nutritional value too, unfortunately. So overcooking is definitely something that you want to be wary of. Only cooking to the level that it takes for you to be able to eat it. One kind of gauge that I'll use is I want it to be really, really bright in color. When I'm cooking my broccoli or cooking my Brussels sprouts, when I take it off the fire, right when it's at that point that it's really, really bright green. Once something starts losing its color, it's probably a good sign that it's been cooked too long. Jane says, I let my frozen veggies thaw a bit before cooking and either blend them into smoothies or eat them gently cooked. Really awesome little tip there. All right, guys, as I wait for some more questions to come in here, I just want to quickly remind you guys, we really appreciate your tips. I can't tell you enough. We really depend on your tips, actually, right now. We also have our new subscription service, Psychetruth Plus, with dozens of yoga and workout videos you will not find on YouTube. We're offering a 50% off coupon for that right now, so it's very, very exciting. And we are also on Amazon. So guys, if you have Amazon Prime, please, please, please go check us out. and leave us some reviews on those videos. And that's a great way to help us immensely, and it doesn't cost you a single penny, is leaving some reviews for us on our Amazon videos. It actually really, really helps to just kind of tell Amazon to show that video to more people. Really, really helps us out. Liam S., tips to improve digestion / get rid of that bloated feeling. So earlier in the chat, I was talking about the liver and how one of the biggest causes to belly fat and bloating in the abdomen, or that feeling of, being bloated, is a sluggish liver. So just like an air filter that hasn't been changed in a few months, and then you pull it out and it's just covered in dirt. Well, how much air can throw through a filter that's covered in dirt? So you can kind of use that analogy when you're thinking about your liver. When your liver becomes overrun with toxins, processed foods, alcohol, sugar, you name it, suddenly the liver starts to get clogged up, just like an air filter. And this sluggish liver is a big reason that we start feeling bloated in the belly, or we feel that feeling of indigestion, like things aren't moving through our system. So you can consider doing a liver cleanse. I recently did one by the Global Healing Center. Global Healing Center is awesome. I loved doing their little liver cleanse. You can also just do things that support your liver, like drink less alcohol, less processed foods, less sugar, eat more vegetables. Broccoli and kale are fantastic to support your liver. Watermelon is great for your liver. Apple cider vinegar. Another part of improving digestion and keeping food from stagnating in your gut is making sure that your gut can work properly and digest your food. So you need a more acidic environment in your stomach in order for your body to digest your food. So taking something like apple cider vinegar, either on a regular basis first thing in the morning or right before a meal, especially if you're someone who constantly experiences indigestion or reflux or things like that, take some apple cider vinegar, either a little bit in a glass of water or take it in a pill form if you don't like the taste. But taking something acidic with your meal will help improve digestion. Lemon and water in the morning. Happy person 19. There's that in there. That's another great idea as well. Yes, my curls are natural. White rice isn't bad for you, like sugar is bad for you, or white bread is bad for you. But it is a bit more starchy than brown rice. So brown rice is typically thought to be healthier than white rice because it contains more minerals, more B vitamins, more fiber. So the starchy content, or the percentage, the percent of the rice that's just starch is much higher in white rice. So white rice is higher glycemic than brown rice, and just generally is more associated with, unwanted weight gain from eating too many carbohydrates. But yes, in moderation, white rice is not bad for you. And you also kind of have to consider the quality. If we're talking about the, really super cheapest of the cheap white rice you find in the grocery store, or the stuff they're selling at one of those like drive-through Chinese restaurants, it's not going to be as healthy for you as if you had an organic white rice, or just a more natural brand that is using a better seed, using better growing practices. What are they spraying on it? There's a lot of different kind of considerations when you're looking at what determines how healthy a food is. Jitesh D, what do you recommend first thing in the morning? Lemon, honey, and water, or apple cider vinegar? I typically kind of jiggy jockey or switch around the two. Having apple cider vinegar in my water in the morning is really easy because I pretty much always have a big jar of apple cider vinegar. And then I'll do lemon water, once or twice a week, just depending on when I have a lemon. If I, was cooking dinner the night before and I have like a half a lemon left over or something, then I'll put it in the fridge and know that, hey, that's probably going to be what I have that next morning, is that lemon. But I think, you know, a little bit of both is a great thing to aim for. Sometimes it's apple cider vinegar, sometimes it's lemon, maybe sometimes it's just regular water. Valandu Gurdoktoragana Pusblarg. Gurdoktoroctagana Plusgarg. I can't say that. Volandau. Have you heard of rat lungworm disease? It's a huge concern where I live. I've not heard of rat lungworm disease. That sounds horrible and disgusting. And I'm really, really sorry. I think you said that you live in Hawaii? Anyways, I've not heard of rat lungworm. That sounds horrifying. I am super sorry. And because I've not heard of it, I don't have any recommendations that I can give you on how to avoid it. Oh, look, my face when I read rat lungworm disease. That's funny. Alrighty, guys. I tell you what, my YouTube is getting a little glitch-tastic over here. Come on. Anyways, guys, it's about 3:30 here. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the day. I am going to be posting a nutrition video right after this live chat gets done. It's it's hard to even call it a recipe. But anyways, it's my recipe for my quinoa breakfast bowl. It's a really awesome, great source of protein and complex carbohydrates to start your day off right, along with healthy fats, antioxidants, and all kinds of lovely things. So please check out that video. It'll probably be about 10 or 15 minutes after I end the chat by the time that I get it all published and ready. But please check out that video. If you try the recipe out, I would love to know what you think about it. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to close y'all out with a little live chat theme song here. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and for all of your amazing, amazing questions. It's always so much fun to be here with you guys. Really hope that you have found this live chat helpful, valuable, edifying. Brownie points word there. Anyhow, guys, thank you so, so much, and I will see y'all next week. It's time for live chat. Ooh, the Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. I'll answer your questions about whatever you want to talk about on the Psychetruth. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Thank you so much. I love being a freaking goofball. Could you tell? Anyways, thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere on this lovely Wednesday afternoon, and I am so honored and so touched that you would choose to spend this time with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you will come back and see me again next week. Till then, guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a happy rest of your day and a wonderful week. I will see you next time.